Hello, I'm just trying the microphone. Let's see if my sound is good. So, hi. Today I'd like to talk about the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. And it was designed by Caroline Smith and John Astrop. In my copy is from 2002. And the good news is that it's you can find it for the moment at crazy prices on the internet, like eBay and all that, if you find it. And hi, Dreaming Antelope, nice to see you. And it's just about to be republished in the next few days. So maybe it's already been republished in your country. I know in France, it's in the 31st. And today we are the 27th, so it's in a few days. It will be republished. So I thought, because I have the original, that I would go through a little bit through the oracle. And so you can see what maybe you've pre-ordered or what you're going to get. Obviously, I'm not too sure they're going to keep the same format. I think they will, because all the editions so far have been at the same format, but I can't say that. I can't, you know, I haven't seen it. So it's an oracle based on astrology, because John Astrop, who is not with us anymore, was an astrologer, and Caroline Smith is the artist. Hi, Morticia. It's an 84 card oracle, so 84 cards is a hell of a lot. When you think about now, I mean, it's a 2002 deck. When you think now about an oracle, usually it's around 44, let's say 50 cards, really, but no more. So there are a lot of cards. So before I forget, because I always forget, I'm going to talk about the size and about the card stock. So let me get in the front of it. So the size, I'm going to take, that's a US game, Tarot of Spirit, to show the size. My sound, yeah. Just careful, I'm not too much away from the microphone. You know, you get into the cards, you know what I mean? It's another word. So that's the Tarot of the Spirit by US Game. So that's a normal US Game system size. And that's the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. So you can see that it's thinner. Maybe you see it from the back a bit better. Yeah, it's thinner and way smaller. It's a small oracle. So if you have smaller hands, it's perfect. I mean, I have huge hands, so I don't mind. But as I said, that's the original edition. I don't know how they will republish it in a few days. The back, you have a sun, the radiant sun on the back. It's very subtle. And the cardstock is good. It's very good. I don't know in GSM, because I've never published myself. I did once, I did Mount Tarot, but it was for me, so I never published it. But it's a good cardstock. It's not too card, but it's like how they used to make tarot. I don't know now. Sometimes they're too thin, too thick, but to me it's perfect because it's still bendy enough. And you know, for 84 cards, you don't want very thick cardstock anyway. So I'll just show you the book a little bit, and then we'll move to the cards. Because you have to understand the system. You have to understand what you're buying a little bit. So always there's a writing from William Lilly from 1647. I see Willow, Herbs and Tarot. Yes, good. That's why I'm doing this live, exactly, because I thought I would show people what they will buy. You know, I'm a fan. I'm just all their cards. I'm just such a fan. It just talks to me, right? But maybe it doesn't talk to everyone. And I must admit too, I'm not that good in astrology, and I use their decks, so it's quite simple, really. But then you can go as far as you want with it, you know, if you want to go further with it. So they always have a reference. Now, for the art, I will talk about the art later. So the introduction, I took some notes because this is based on horary astrology. And it's a bit different from a natal chart. And what I understand of it, horary astrology, let's say you're based in London and you're asking, will I get a job? Yeah, you've applied for a job and you ask the astrology, the cards, will I get a job? And then you can do a spread based on the time and the place of the question. And that's how horary astrology works. Nothing to do with your date of birth, but it's to do with the time and place of your question. And you will see after that, I will show you some spreads that are particularly related exactly to these questions. So horary astrology uses, like in any chart, uses houses, signs, and planets. However, not all planets. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are not part of this system. So just to let you know, we have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 planets, and not the 10 planets that you might see in other decks, right? So it's 7 planets, houses. So it's all explained. You have these symbols that it makes it very easy to follow if you're a beginner. Then I love this chart because if you're, if you're not fluent in astrology, you have the houses, the planets, and the signs, and it gives you a keyword for each. And it's, for example, if you get the sun in Scorpio in the 3rd house, you take the 3 keywords: drive to succeed, plus passion, self-mystery, plus mental ability, communication. And with that, you have the basis of your answer. It's pretty simple to start with. After that, you can go much deeper in it. Obviously, they talk about the planets and the houses, the signs. And then we're getting to the oracle cards. So what they've done for the 7 planets, they've divided the cards, obviously, in 7 different topics because it's the planets. And they've done different shapes for them. If you can see the sun, there's this half circle at the top, for example. For the moon, there's a rectangle at the bottom. And of course, you can recognize them by the, by the glyph of the planets. But Mercury is halfway like that. Venus is the whole card. So they have divided them like this. So I'll show you exactly how it works. And then we start with the first planet, the sun, because it's the oracle of the radiant sun. We start with the sun. So for each, it gives you, so it says, I'm going to read a little bit, the 12 sun cards, there's 12 in each, for each planet, represent the sun's movement through the 12 signs of the astrological zodiac. So that's what will happen. Each planet, although I don't think the moon is a planet, but anyway, each planet used will go through all the signs. And that's what makes it interesting, because with it, you can learn astrology too. I find it very exciting. So interpreting the combinations of planet and signs on each card allows you to assess life spirit of the subject of a reading, revealing how his or her power to succeed in each area of life are met. The sun cards represent identity and masculine drive in particular. They define how we express ourselves, our need to get on in life, and how we feel at our best. Sun cards reveal the focus of our self-expression. So you already know that your 12 cards that you will get are based on this because it's the sun. Then it gives you the sun occupations, what people do when they're sunny people. So they're leaders, actors, performers, and also the sun affinities. It's related to a lot of different things. So then we get to the cards, and you will see. Maybe I should come down a little bit so you see it better. Yeah. Let me check. My camera is now focusing. Let's see. Let's focus. Is that better? Technology, huh? Slightly. So, so here, for example, on the card, so you see it's the sun because the shape of the card. And then obviously you have the sign, the sun sign, you have the number of the card, so it's number 1, and they go in order. Then you have the keywords, and then you have the star sign, which is Aries here. Let me see, because I can't see your comments anymore. There you go. Then there's a small text. I love this. You know how much I love this. There's a small text about the image. So let's take, I'll show you the first one. So it's easier, you understand better. So it says, the knight and dragon speak for themselves. This card indicates a quality of reckless heroism and a refusal to be deterred from the battle. And at the top, you always have a sun or a glyph of a sun or something related to. So you have 2 layers, and that's why I always liked in decks is that you have, it's always multiple layers of reading. So obviously it could be Jason and the dragon. I think, you see, the art, I think the art is from collage. I don't think it's her own art. But I'm not too sure, but I know there's a lot of collage in it. So then, now they've described the card, there's a whole text about personal, how this card, you know, affects you personally. And then when dealt in a reading, so there's the reading and a little summary at the bottom. Sorry, I'll show you. A little summary at the bottom called events. And that you can just do the reading from this if you want to learn quite fast. I love the, well, I love everything about it. I can't stop, you know. But I love the graphics on it and the way they've split the cards, and I just find it really exquisite. So let me show you the cards a bit better now. And then we go to the spreads pages. Where am I? Here. So, so here we have Sun in Taurus. So you see the Sun, Taurus. Oh, no, not in the frame. There you go. Sun, Taurus. And you have a glyph at the top. And what is it? The symbol is a ritual voodoo diagram known as Herzuli, which represents the desire for a marriage bond and shows a love of perfume and jewelry. I just find it exquisite. It's like this old decks feel, like the old Lenormand, the old divination decks that we used to have and are still in print today. So you always have the number at the top, the planets, and the sign at the bottom. And, you know, you go on from every sign. So that's Sun in Gemini. So we're still in the Sun series. I'm going to try and go a bit faster. Sun in Cancer. And here you have a raven. Sun in Leo. Very interesting. You have this, it's very deep. I mean, if you know about symbols, if you have a dictionary of symbols, or if you know about, I know there's a lot of references to alchemy in this deck, although it's not pushed on the alchemy, but you can see that, you know, like that, for example. So it makes it very fascinating. It's a bit old school in a way, but it hasn't, to me, it hasn't aged. You can't say, oh, this is an 80s deck. No, it could be from the 50s. It could be, you know, To me, it's gone through the ages, and I've always loved it anyway. So let's carry on. Here it's a bit more Egyptian. So we have a lot of different mythologies too in it. And it's the health card, and it's Sun in Virgo, which is my card. My sun was in Virgo when I was born, but so you can read for that too. If you want to build up your chart and then choose the cards, the relevant cards of where the planets were in your signs, you can do that with the cards too, and it makes something very interesting with it. I won't have time to do it now because I'm live, but it's something really interesting. And I love that it's an Egyptian picture because it's, to me, it's the closest period of history. It's the closest to me and to my heart, let's say. So, and my sun is in Virgo. So it's servants and the princess. You see that they're washing her. I don't know if they're putting makeup on her. If you've seen they have little makeup jars at the British Museum, Egyptian makeup jars that are just fascinating. Anyway, so now we have the sun in Libra. I'm going to go a bit quicker. The sun in Scorpio. And the sun in Sagittarius. In Capricorn. It's just lovely. Aquarius. So all these myths you can find out about too. Obviously, they don't talk too much about it in a booklet because it's a small booklet. It's got 142 pages. It's 1 page per card. So every card has a page, full page. There's no difference between the cards. So now we're at 11, so sun in Aquarius. So you see you have, once again, these 2 layers of reading. And the last sun in Pisces. Now we're moving to the moon cards. And the moon is the suit of security, so you have protection. I love this card. Exaltation, I love it. That's moon in Taurus. That's one of mine too. When I was born, my moon was in Taurus. So it does speak to me. Some cards, I really know them because of that. So it helps learning the deck. And yeah, I read it for years without knowing about astrology, you see. Because you read it like any divination deck. You get into the picture and look what it's telling you. And I'm particularly sensitive to her art, so it talks to me. So moon in Gemini, moon in Cancer, and I must say all these old paintings and engravings, there's a lot of engravings are just really nice. Are you still with me? If you have any questions, don't hesitate. I'm trying to get on with it, otherwise we're here for hours again. My last live was nearly 2 hours, so moon in Leo. Oh, exquisite. With the cornucopia here, with the abundance, it's really lovely. Moon in Virgo, so it's order, of course. Moon in Libra, moon in Scorpio, and so on. Moon in Sagittarius, and I'm going to go quicker so I show you all the suits, right? So now we're getting to Mercury. Obviously, Mercury is here. And the first card is Mercury in Aries, so it's always the same system, right? It's in order. So one of the Mercury cards, and you can see they're half cut here. So once again, you have 2 layers of reading the card. This is more Indian. You have Greek, Egyptian, Indian, a lot of animals, if you work with animal totems, alchemy. It's a pretty full-on deck. Now, you don't have a description of absolutely everything that's on the card because it's only always 2 or 3 lines, you see here. So it's not enough, obviously, but you get an idea of what's happening. Let's say number 7. Mercury in Libra. The coiled serpent's tongue in the astrological sigil for the planet Mercury. It represents smooth talk, guile, persuasion, and temptation. So in the first relationship, Adam and Eve walk in the garden, unaware of danger, beneath the roses, thorns. So yeah, that's the Adam and Eve. I like that extremism. Oh, this is the Mercury suit, this one. Yeah, you have the, it's always on the left. Extremism. Discovery, look at that, how wonderful. You know that somebody is about to travel. It's in Sagittarius, so obviously related to travels. It feels like you've opened an old book. You've discovered an old book in a library somewhere. And the plus of it is that it's a divinatory, so it's fantastic. Look at these machines. And he thought to create the machine. I don't know who that is. It doesn't say who it is, you see. That's Mercury in Aquarius. Yeah. So we finish the Mercury and we start on Venus. So that's Venus in Aries here. So the Venus cards are full cards. There's no separation. It's just one image on it. So that's how you recognize them if you don't use astrology. I think it's a pretty clever system. So all the Venus cards. Look at the birth card. How exquisite is it? Venus in Cancer. The angel of birth above, so there's angels too. A newborn baby. The rocky cabin suggests the hard, protective shell of Cancer. Above, the sun and moon safeguard the birth. The two sigils, the sigils in 2002, the two sigils represent the seal of Venus and the spirit of Venus here. So you have sigils too. I mean, it's just so complete. And yet, you can just read it without all this deep knowledge if you don't have it, because I did. So we're finishing Venus. Flirtation, how sweet. Secrets. It's just, you use it, you can use it as a normal oracle, which I've done for a very long time. And then I will show you how they do the spreads. Now we're moving to Mars, and you can feel the energy of Mars straight away, of the planet Mars. So Mars in Aries again, the keyword and the number of the card. And you can see there's 3 separation here, 3 rectangles. So it's even deeper. So I know in France it's coming out, well, you can order it on Amazon, and if they're not pushing back, because, you know, it's been, all the new reprints have been pushed back, but I checked this morning, and it's, they're supposed to send it on the 31st of January on Amazon France. So sometimes we're behind here, so maybe it's already out for you. I'm not too sure. It's an old oracle that feels very now, because it's got everything. There's nothing I'm seeing now that I don't see in this oracle, you see? All these, the planets, the sigils, the old engravings, the collage, plants, animals, deities, different pantheons. That's why, you know, when I buy now new cards, I'm like, what more is it going to bring me? Because I've got some really strong decks. Obviously, I do like simpler too. I'm not saying it's complex, but if you really want to get into it, it can get a bit complex, obviously. If you really want to study every sign and everybody on it. But then you can relate it to in your head, you know, like the Pope here, if you want, for example. In the US, coming out on 28th of February. Oh, I see. It's coming out first in France. Well, oh, yeah, because it's a European deck. That's why. It's because it's they're British, right? That's why. Ah, coucou, Françoise. So, obviously, the book is in English. If you're French, the book is in English. I haven't seen any translation yet. But I like the way it's like you found an old divination deck somewhere in your grandmother's collection, and it's pristine, and you're going to use it. It's just, you know, I'm in love with it anyway. So Jupiter, look how wonderful Jupiter looks with the hand like that, and all the mounts on the hand. That's Enterprise. So chiromancy here, it's so complete. So all the Jupiter cards have lozenges, and then other, as you can see, other little signs on the side. So it's just full on. It's full on. You don't need 20 cards. Honestly, all the spreads in a book, which I'm going to show you, to me, there's way too many cards. I'm a 3-4 card per maximum person, apart from my chakra reading, but I read with the minimum cards because I like to get intensely into the cards, right? And all the spreads are way too big. So we're still on Jupiter with the lozenge in the center. And you notice most of the 8 cards are Egyptian. I'm not too sure why. Would Scorpio be related to Egypt? I don't know. I don't do, you know, this astrology where you can, how is it called? Location astrology or something, where you can look at the lines of the signs to find the perfect place for you to move to. It's too complex for me, but anyway. And seduction. And now the next one is Saturn. It's the suit of ambition. And you can sometimes recognize fairy tales or story you've been told or you've read somewhere. And you see the angels again. So if you work with angels, that's a nice deck too. It hasn't got many angels, but that's another thing it's got. Oh, who's that? On 5. Let's see. So you can see that all the Saturn are halved. There's 2 layers. Who's that? He's a speaker addressing a large gathering, passing on the words of great prophet. Oh, I can't say. Prophet of the past. The image of the prophet sits above as an inspiration for the performance of the speaker. So that's really interesting. If you have, for example, an idea that you want to express, this is the perfect card that you need to share your idea. You need, but vocally, verbally. Obviously, we could do it through the internet now because there's no, I don't think there's an internet card, you know what I mean, on phone or so. There's a labyrinth. These are my favorite. I'm mad about labyrinths. So we're getting to the last cards. It's a bit slippery, but it's because of my table. So let's say we've been through the 84 cards. Obviously, I can't comment on all of them. Otherwise, we'll be here until tonight. And you know how much I love long videos. But I just wanted to show, you know, what the deck look like, how we can use it now. Once we've gone through all the cards, then you have the spreads. And the spreads, so you can do your year spread whenever you do it, if you do it in January or not. You can do your year spread with it. And you can start it at any time anyway. It doesn't need to be in January. So there's sample readings, and I like that. They used to do that in books a lot before, not so much now, but they used to do sample readings. So it gives you an idea of how to use the deck. It gives you an example, especially that was before YouTube was so big and there was a tarot community. You know, in 2002, I don't know when YouTube was created, but I don't think there was a tarot community there anyway. So another year reading, but the reading I wanted to show you is the specialist reading they do, that the deck is based on, is the horary reading. And you can see that you still have the 12th position of the 12 signs, and all the cards have been drawn, but you only look at some cards, because what you'll do, let's say, I think there's an example here. The example is about, will I get the job, right? So they will only look at the cards that are related to the houses that will give an answer about a job. So you don't need to read the whole 12 cards. You can just read the 4 here of house 1, of house 5, 6, and 10, and see what you've got there. So it gives you an example, once again, of the reading here, and another one here. So really, and another one, 3, and then other types of reading. So that's the Grand Trine reading. That's a bit more advanced for me. You know, trines and all that, and aspects, I'm not there yet, but I can still do the spread, obviously. And that's it. So they're all big spreads. There's no 3-card spread or anything with this deck. So the book, the original book is 144 pages with a big sun at the front. I don't know what the box looks like because I haven't had it for a very long time. As I said, the deck still looks perfect. It's small enough to get to hold in a hand. Although there's a lot of cards, it doesn't matter. You can shuffle it. And I do like to use it personally, but with plenty of decks. But I do like to use it with the Tower of the Spirit. So now that's another complex deck, right? But that's one of them. There's others. Maybe I'll do a video one day on how I use it. But I just think that they go well together. See? I like it because one is more graphic and the other one is more collage. So it makes it interesting. I like the relationship between the two. But it can go with any deck, really. I think it's an oracle that you can use for with any type of tarot. I don't see why you should limit yourself to one, because it's got all the colors, all the subjects. See, every time it does fit. Look at the High Priestess from Tower of the Spirit by Pamela and Joyce Eakins. And look at this one, the Health card. So it's the Sun in Virgo. It's card 6 of the Sun series with the High Priestess. And with that, you could do a reading. It's fantastic. I mean, personally, I love it. So if you have any questions about, how to use it, but I really wanted to share what it looked like, because I know that it's on a lot of people's wish list because it's hard to find. And I'm saying this year, let's try and discover a little bit decks before we buy everything and we don't know what we're buying. It's a great addition if you want to learn astrology. Obviously, if you like this type of drawings or collage, it's small enough if you have small hands. The book is complete to really help you, take you through the readings. So it's a good all-around article, which has obviously a strong astrology theme. But if you want to read it with astrology, you can do it. There's nothing stops you. I have done it for many years, and obviously, if you know astrology, it does bring more. It does. You go straight to the meaning. But as I like looking at just the picture, you can see here for the High Priestess, for example, she's got, it seems, a planet here on. She's got, well, the third eye, but the eye looks like there's a planet in it. I don't know. It looks a bit like that. And then you have the servants here washing this person's hair from the crown to the third eye. And to me, it's also a great inspiration, getting new ideas. They're not concrete yet, but it's getting inspired. I can see straight away. And because here she's got the checkerboard in front of her, then it will be to strategize about something. So I don't need to put the planets in it to know how to use this deck, but it does give it another layer if you do. So, there's any questions? So I'll say again that Sea Willow Herbs and Tarot said that in the US, Amazon, it's on pre-order. It's coming out on the 28th of February. Obviously, it's a British deck, so that's why we're getting it before. But, you know, ours is supposed to come out the 31st of January, but I'm not sure that it will. I wanted to thank you for being here, and I might do a French version. I'll have a look to see if I can do a French version in about 10 minutes. It's just some, I need to look at some terms that I don't know in French, but I know in English. How weird. Thanks very much for being here, and I see you all very soon. Bye-bye.